Hey guys, welcome back to the GM's table. Before we get started, I want to remind everybody to like, share, subscribe, do all that great YouTube stuff. You know the drill. If you want to help out the channel more than that, down here are our patrons. Check out the Patreon link at the bottom. You get videos early, get access to PDFs, blah, 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 blah. Again, you guys know the deal. Anyways, I kind of wanted to do a special video specifically about people having this question of, when my players get such high level, hitting a target number of 4, it's so easy. It happens all the time. What can I do? Or this most commonly happens with range attacks. Like, range attacks are so powerful, they have to hit as a 4. And all this stuff. Now, range attacks are probably the most common and the easiest one to bring up. I want to bring this up partially because in Facebook a couple weeks ago, someone asked this and was like, should I just raise the target number? And again, the range attack question happens a lot. I wanted to do a specific video about this, even though I've brought it up a few times. And one of my first videos was actually a rant on this, not just for Savage Worlds, but I want to bring up specifically in Savage Worlds. First and foremost, bring up range attacks. If your players only have to roll a 4 to hit ranged targets, you're not using all the rules. Just plain simple. Or you're running very, very dumb enemies. If it's a horde of zombies and they don't know any better, fine. But if these are intelligent enemies, this shouldn't be happening. Why? First, range modifiers. If they're at medium range, that's a -2. If they're at long range, that's a -4. Now that's effectively a target number 6 or 8. Okay. But we're dealing with guns. They have decent range modifiers. Maybe you play pretty close quarters. I tend to play pretty close quarters. However, cover. For the love of God, have enemies take cover. Why? Because medium cover's a -2. Heavy cover's a -4. Anyone can drop to a knee and get 1 point of cover. They can drop completely prone and get a ton of cover. They don't even physically need stuff. Just have them drop down low. There is no reason the target should be standing out in an open field with nothing blocking them to be shot. If that is the case, they deserve to be hit and to be hit easily. The other thing to bring up, and this comes up for many skills actually, is don't forget environmental modifiers. Having it be rainy out, or bring in some fog, or even it's a clear day. However, the sun's over. The sun's over there. You're right here, and your target's right here. So to stare at him, you got the sun in your eyes. You can very easily describe that, and the player, very quickly will go, okay, how can I move? But all of a sudden now they're having to worry about that. Even if they don't get an environmental penalty every round, they're now having to work around those penalties to keep from having them. That still makes it interesting. So yes, if they can simply move and avoid that penalty, they're still likely to succeed, but they had to proactively do something to get that. That is very, very important. The other really big one here for those penalties is you are talking about an unwounded and not tired character rolling a 4. The second one is the big one, the not tired. If you're running really high-end games, really powerful games, and you're really, really worried about this, fatigue is your friend. But first we're going to bring up wounds, because I said wounded and then tired. And also wounds are a more common thing to know. Characters understand they get wounded. They're going to start out doing great, but they just need one bad roll. They need one thing to hit them to wound them. Now granted, they can soak those wounds. They're going to be trying to mitigate those penalties, but once the wounds start stacking on, the tides will turn quickly. Just like that is fatigue. But fatigue is a whole other beast. I've done whole videos on fatigue. Why? 2 main reasons. 1, enemies don't need to give players fatigue. The environment, simply being there, can risk fatigue. 2, fatigue can't be soaked. If you really want to make a hard time for your players to hit that 4, because again, it's effectively a 4 after penalties. If you want to make that 4 a 5 or a 6 effectively, fatigue. Because if they fail the save and take fatigue from hazards environmental conditions, read the hazard section of the core book. If you feel Savage Worlds is too easy, read that section. Because once they get that fatigue, they can't shake it until the terms and the time in those terms gets rid of the fatigue. Because fatigue's nebulous. Again, I've done videos on some fatigue can last a day. You can have bumps and bruises that are actually rough. If you want to be really harsh on your characters, if a character falls down something, like slips, maybe gets shoved down a flight of stairs, don't roll damage. First of all, that damage can potentially kill them. Instead, you suffer bumps and bruises. Give me a vigor roll. If it's a harsh one, give me a vigor roll at -2. If you fail, you have bumps and bruises. The player might be thinking it's like wounds. Fine. Oh, I failed. I have it all soaked. Bumps and bruises is fatigue, not wounds. You don't get to soak it. Well, how long does it last? Till you rest for the night. Now you're sitting with this. It doesn't bring them closer to death. Not all fatigue kills. Some can, but that's a whole separate video. It doesn't bring them closer to death as far as wounds are concerned, but it does add that penalty. Don't forget it. So, I don't want this to feel like it's the fatigue video, because again, also, environmental conditions. Rain, snow, fog, ranged attacks, high wind, anything that affects visibility. And this is stuff that can also affect other skills. Your thief is great at picking locks. They gotta get into this house, and they gotta do it quickly, because the cops might come around. Alright, they're picking a lock, but it's raining, which means the lock picks are wet. They're dealing with a lock that has water running over it now, because it's raining. That is a -2. Maybe it is the cops are coming. Alright, well, we can easy. This is a little more nebulous, and this one, if you're not honest with your players, can feel like an arbitrary penalty. But again, explain your penalties and be honest with it. But you can easily say, well, a standard lockpicking check's probably like 10 minutes. Or if you want to go, all right, you're really good, we'll say it's a basic lock. Because you can also say, picking a safe is an hour. Picking a deadbolt, like a nice deadbolt's 10 minutes. And picking a house lock, like a basic one somebody bought at Home Depot's, a minute. Because you're very skilled at it. Same roll, same check, but you put these conditions in. But now you're going, well, yeah, it could take a minute, but you got 10 seconds till security comes around. Well, then how did I do it? You take a -2, you're rushing it. Or you choose not to, and you move on. But you can rush it. Put time constraints. Time can also be a good way to add penalties. Put time constraints and boom. Now the player could also go, well, if it takes 10 minutes, or if it takes a minute and nobody's coming for a while, can I just take 5 minutes? Yeah, you get a +2. You still, if you snake eyes, you're going to break a pick or jam the lock or something. You can do that as well. So do let that example swing both ways. But do all these things. And if your players are standing out in the open and being easy targets and making it easy for your enemies, and you're worried the enemies are just slaughtering them, maybe you've had that issue. Have the enemies start doing this. Your players are going to learn these tricks and learn this stuff by the enemies doing it. That's for the action. That's for ranged attacks. The modifiers for environment, for all that stuff, you just got to tell them. Anyways, I'll catch you guys later. Bye. If you like that video, check out another video over here. Whatever it is, it's probably pretty good. Don't forget to like, share so other people can find the channel, and subscribe right up there. YouTube now won't let me put a link to the Patreon, but there is a link down in the description below. So if you want to help support the channel, check that out, and I will catch you guys next time.